Hello, and welcome to the 7th Annual Governor General's Innovation Awards. I'm Abdullah Snowbar, Executive Director of the DMZ, the CEO of DMZ Ventures, and member of the Rideau Hall Foundation Board of Directors. I'd like to start by acknowledging that Rideau Hall, where this ceremony would normally take place, is located on the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation, whose presence here reaches back to time immemorial. I'm delighted to be here with everyone across the country to celebrate 6 amazing, and I mean amazing, incredible new GGIA laureates and their great Canadian innovations. So what exactly is innovation? Is it technology? Is it health related? Can it be about the arts, maybe improving public sector performance and building an inclusive, compassionate society? Simply put, and to quote the 28th Governor General of Canada and the founder of these awards, David Johnston, innovation is about making the world better, kinder, safer, and healthier for everyone. The objectives of the Governor General's Innovation Awards are to celebrate excellence in innovation across all sectors of Canadian society and inspire Canadians, particularly Canadian youth, to be entrepreneurial innovators. The awards are given to individuals, teams, and organizations whose innovations are truly exceptional, transformative, and positive in their impact on the quality of life in Canada. And today, we have the opportunity to hear about 6 incredible innovations that are doing just that, making Canada and the world a better place. The GGIA are managed by the Rideau Hall Foundation in partnership with the Office of the Secretary to the Governor General. The awards are supported by the hard work of its nominating partners, Assessment Committee, and Selection Committee. We'd like to thank and congratulate them as well for today and making all this very much possible. Here with the message of congratulations and thanks is the Governor General of Canada, Her Excellency, Mary May Simon.
Hello, bonjour, Tungasugitsi. I would like to acknowledge that I'm joining you today from Rideau Hall, which sits on the unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. Congratulations to the laureates of the 2022 Governor General's Innovation Awards. Félicitations aux lauréats du Prix du Gouverneur général pour l'innovation 2022. Nakong mero mayunga ilitaksijaw magutitaktonik taman na pinaswak tabut kanat limamo ilingan hakmat ammalohaw yibalya suta pinaswakta nutanik atokaya haktatinik anya tailimat jotikut ammalo apatilirinikut. The best innovators make life better. They see things from a different point of view and engage with others to come up with solutions. They also build on what has come before, adding their knowledge and expertise to their respective fields. Innovation, after all, has both short and long-term impacts. In the short term, innovators address specific needs of a community, achieving results that impact quality of life now. In the long term, innovators add to a continuum of knowledge which will influence future innovators and decision makers. This year's Innovation Awards gives us the chance to acknowledge the great work of 5 unique teams. Like the innovators at Carbon Cure and BrainBox AI, who are making crucial advancements in our fight against climate change. Like those at Apply Board, who are working to improve accessible and culturally relevant education. Ilinyavik piruk sabarlia yunun nuitivarlia mat ilinyagoti chajanik nutanik tamanna inuit inushitohanga ammalo uhausibut ilautitsiaga hakmat. Like the researchers who are making breakthroughs in the medical field, one team developing systems to deliver cancer drugs to tumors and another, producing the world's first hearing aid prescription software. Each laureate shares the use of collaborative approaches to achieve their goals. Chaque lauréat utilise des approches collaboratives pour atteindre leur objectif. Collaboration is an essential function of innovation as it is in life. The issues we face, climate change, reconciliation, the continuing pandemic, conflict, and more, requires not only original thinking, but also coming together to find common ground. It also involves reimagining what we know to be true and acknowledging the truth of our lived realities, no matter how difficult that may be. Today, we're using inclusive, innovative approaches to promote reconciliation, healing, understanding, and respect. Aujourd'hui, nous utilisons des approches inclusives et innovantes pour promouvoir la réconciliation, la guérison, la compréhension, et le respect. More and more, we're listening to diverse voices in innovation, recognizing their importance. Certainly, this underlines the responsibility that we must take on when we create something new, whether it's new technology or social change. That's why it's important to celebrate the work of innovators who are taking responsibility, who are looking forward, and who are reimagining what our country and our society could be. As we mark Canadian Innovation Week, I would once again like to congratulate the laureates. I wish them the best as they continue to create and discover. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech nakormik.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for such inspiring words and for your own contribution to Canada's culture of innovation. We are now proud to present each of this year's Governor General Awards laureates. We will hear about each of their innovations and the work that has gone into making our country and the world a better place for all.
Our innovation are carbon removal technologies, which means that we use CO2 that's normally released into the atmosphere as a harmful greenhouse gas. And instead, we use that carbon dioxide to make concrete so we can make greener buildings and infrastructure for society. This is a necessary climate solution for not only Canadians, but the global society to adapt to a new net zero future. Right now, we're working with over 550 customers in 25 countries that have produced 2.25 million truckloads of concrete that have gone to supply projects of any different kind that you can imagine, from homes to schools to roads to airports to high rises. We'd like to profoundly thank the Governor General's Innovation Award. I also need to thank our team that have been just incredible in pursuing our mission of decarbonizing the built environment, my family, and certainly as I think about the work that we're doing, I'm thinking about the next generation and my daughters who will be living in a world that we're creating for them that will be impacted by climate change.
So our innovation is these virtual robots that we design combined with artificial intelligence, which deploy themselves through our own device in the building and start to operate the systems in the building, which are creating the heating, the cooling, the ventilation in real time. And to do so, try to reduce the consumption of energy, improve the comfort of the human living in the building, and most importantly, reduce the emission of that building, all these equipment within that building. One important aspect of our innovation is the fact it could scale and has a global impact extremely rapidly, which is exactly what we need for our planet right now. So to give you a sense of magnitude, so since we launched our technology, we're already deployed in more than 100 million square feet around the planet, spread it in 70 large cities. And all these buildings right now are already removing 1 million metric tons of CO2. That's the equivalent of 215,000 cars removed from the road. I'm so grateful to the entire BrainBox team of 155 employees that work so hard every day to make this technology a reality and really make their contribution to save the planet. I would like to mention the exceptional leadership of the Governor General and the Rideau Hall Foundation that every year reward exceptional work from so many Canadians.
Our innovation is an online platform for students and their counselors from all over the world that they can simply search, match, find their eligibility, and apply for over 1,500 universities and colleges for their study abroad in Canada, United Kingdom, United States, and Australia. Right now, we have helped over 300,000 students with their applications, and over 95% acceptance rate. Is amazing because it just takes a lot of hardship away from them. Education is the best weapon to end poverty. ApplyBoard is the world's largest online platform for international studies right now. We have 1,600 strong employees and staff all around the world in over 30 countries. And it's great to work in a multicultural company. Over years, we have raised over 600 million Canadian dollars. It's like a universe is helping for this to happen. It is not about ApplyBoard, it's about our mission, everyone wants this to happen because it's a good thing for humanity. 10 years ago, me and my brothers, we stepped foot in this beautiful country, and this country done a lot for us, and we are so happy about it. We are so honored to receive this award. It means a lot for me. Thank you so much. This is just a start,
We've always had a dream to open a center in Pond Inlet. We teach early childhood and promote Inuit Pauyimayatokangit and Inuit way of life. That has been our dream. Thank you.
It is an Inuit-centered, IQ-centered preschool in the community of Pond Inlet, and it is supported by Montessori materials. So the heart of it is knowledge that has been there for a very long time.
Materials like kamotik, which is the sled, and the tent, sealskin tent, own games, tracing Inuktitut syllabics.
But we also have classic Montessori materials that are very hands-on, wooden materials that were developed by Maria Montessori that also help to enhance the hands-on element. People are excited by seeing all these hands-on materials in Inuktitut, and also that we were really centering the program on Inuit knowledge. And so we just started getting calls from people, and it was word of mouth. Like the power of word of mouth is so strong. Pillavik means a place to grow, and we really do continuously watch this grow in so many different directions. And at the heart of it, what is so exciting is that when you actually look at what it is that this program is and how it differs from a lot of other programs, is that you're really putting the child at the heart of what they can do every day in the space, and they can choose their learning. And that is truly putting a child in power of their own education and that is colonizing education.
Yeah, and that's how it was in the days when Inuit were nomadic. We would like to give our gratitude to the community of Pond Inlet, the parents, the children who go to the preschool, and the community who give support to us and our Pilvic preschool. Thank you.
So membranes go around all the cells in your body. You have 33 trillion of them in your body, all those cells, and all those cells have a membrane around the outside. And there's lipids there that we can use to construct these lipid nanoparticles. The impact of this invention has been quite profound. One of the advantages of this kind of approach is that they can be designed quite quickly. So what was done as soon as the sequence of the SARS-CoV-2 virus was elucidated, once we had messenger RNA, we could package that into a lipid nanoparticle, which takes a very short period of time. I can do it in a day or so. Another point is that this is going to be the basis of a whole new era of therapeutics. In my laboratory, we first started working around about 1995. And so we've had 27 years. One of the things I'd like to emphasize is that this is really a team effort. There were literally hundreds of people involved in the invention of the lipid nanoparticle. Together, we've worked together for over 40 years, and it's been a remarkable journey for all three of us.
The innovation that our team is receiving the Governor General's Innovation Award for is called DSL, and it's a software system that is a prescription for hearing aids for babies and young children. When we started this, the reason it started was because all of the tools that we have now didn't exist, and it was more of guesswork and an art to provide hearing aid fitting for young infants and young children, and we really wanted to turn that to a science. Every baby has their own unique hearing, their own unique ear canal acoustics that change and grow as the baby gets bigger. And the hearing aid has its own complex signal processing. DSL breaks that all down into a whole clinical series of steps where babies will have hearing tests, and in the very young ages, babies can't do a hearing test by saying, I can hear that. So instead, we put electrodes on their head and measure their brain activity to sound. So the first step is that we make a whole bunch of corrections for that. We put that all together into a full prescription that says this is the exact amount of amplification that we need in each ear of this person. The impact of the DSL software has been literally global in reach and has reached millions of children worldwide. There have been a lot of people who have helped with the development of DSL. Our colleagues include Richard Seawald, who was the Canada Research Chair in Childhood Hearing and started all of this. Colleagues include Shane Moody and Sheila Moody, and Marlene Bagato, and Steve Bolak, and Leonard Cornelis. We're really, really grateful for the ongoing engagement from pediatric audiologists around the world in the hearing industry, without whom the global reach of DSL never would have happened. And on behalf of all of our students, there have been many over the years, and our colleagues here at Western, we're so deeply grateful and honored to receive this award. Thank you.
Congratulations to these incredible teams. Now, please join me in welcoming each of the team speakers as we get to sit down for a discussion on the power of innovation, inspiration, and the call to do things better. Please welcome our laureates. Hello and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So let's get started. Martin Basiri from Apply Board. You and your team are providing global access to education, which is very inspiring. Your company has had exceptional growth and is now really become a household name in most cases. Where did your inspiration to innovate come from? And I wanted to ask a follow-on question that would lead into maybe your first part of inspiration, but what has been influential in creating your innovation mindset? And how important is that mindset to Apply Board success?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Me and Apply Board, we are honored to receive this award. It really means a lot. I came to Canada 10 years ago to study at the University of Waterloo, and then my brothers came here as well to study. We are coming from a lower middle class family back home that education was everything. We didn't have money, but we knew our way up is through our education. And if it wasn't because of my education, I would have not have the pleasure of standing here and talk to you and receiving this award. After we came to Canada, we started helping our friends so they also can have access to this amazing education that we have here in this country. And a little after, we decided, why don't we automate the process so more people can have access to good quality education? Because hundreds of millions of people around the world, they don't have access to good quality education. And then Apply Board started almost exactly 7 years ago. And, we've grown from like every single angle. We've grown like over 1,500 staff globally. We've worked with like almost 2,000 universities, colleges, and institutions all around the world. We assisted over 300,000 students with their study abroad journey. And every day is a blessing for us because we get to work hard, we get to innovate what we would like to do, but most importantly, every day we change lives of people by providing them access to the education that otherwise they might not even have, or simplifying their path to the education that they desire. It's amazing because I always we're apply-board t-shirt, and sometimes people recognize me on the street and they say, oh, 3 years ago I used the platform to come to Canada. And it's just amazing to see them now working in a pharmacy, to see them working as an engineer, to see them working as a teacher or something. And this is amazing. We're gonna continue doing it. Our hope is one day. I really want to see that in my lifetime. One day, education is accessible for students all around the world, and no one in the world is not having access to education just because of where they were born, or because of the family wealth situation, or their nationality, or race, or religion. Education is a right, not a privilege.
I love that, Martin, and I love the fact that you have a great North Star goal, which is to give access to education to all. What an amazing thing to kind of keep in mind. And you said something that's really important, which is changing people's lives. And that's something that you are fundamentally doing every day. And I wanted to do the follow-up question is just, who has been influential in creating your innovation mindset? Who's helping you kind of get to this mindset and pushing you forward every day to achieve what Applyboard's been able to achieve today in terms of success?
Definitely my parents. Both of my parents were education, like they were in education. My mom was a school principal and my dad was university lecturer. They really pushed us to learn and be curious, especially my dad, always teaching us like things that was way above our age, but they were always like pushing us toward that. Coming from a family of educators, they were always like trying to like tell us that we have control in our life. By learning and acting and be determined, we can change our life and help other people as well.
Martin, truly inspirational. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to Dr. Sean Monkman. Dr. Sean, similar question for you. What or who sparked your desire to innovate?
I think for us, we're working in the built environment, which is something that touches everyone. It's kind of the society and the engineering built around us to allow us to succeed. And for us, it was identifying the societal need to live more sustainably. So once we've had embraced that vision, it was the point was to identify the opportunities in which we can make impactful solutions for making our environment more sustainable. And a lot of that inspiration would actually, come from the people that we've put together on our team, but also from our customers or people in the marketplace, people who are willing to take risks, people who are willing to try new things. They allow us to, get out into the world, try a few things. Maybe they don't all work, but they're all aiming towards a larger goal. And when you have that shared vision with your customers or the society at large, you can do really exciting things. And I think additionally for us, we're motivated by taking ideas from the lab and making them work in the industry. Innovation, can't die on the lab bench. It has to actually grow and flow and make an impact. And that's where the challenge for us has been, taking these ideas, making sure that they not only that they work, but they provide value, that they're desirable, and the marketplace wants to do something with them. And through that, we can make an impact. And for us, working within the sustainability side of things, I think we often turn to something called the time value of carbon, and saying anything we can do now currently to reduce carbon is more impactful than something we can optimize over 50 years. The urgency is there. So having found some solutions that will help reduce carbon in the concrete industry and having found those partners who want to work with us, I think, that's aligning innovation with impact, and that's been motivating us.
Such great points, Dr. Sean. And I think two things that you mentioned earlier in your comment that resonate is, number one, build great teams, and number two, listen to your customer, and then you'll be able to, and hopefully that inspires you to continue moving forward. So thank you so much for that. I want to move on to Jatita Merkosak and Leia Kipomi. Your company, Pirovic, focuses on the traditional practice of allowing children to learn at their own pace by following their own natural curiosity and choosing topics that really interest them. First of all, I love that you're tag teaming this together today on the same screen, so it's really good to see that. And, I just wanted to ask, when it comes to supporting Indigenous innovators in Canada, what do you wish people knew about traditional knowledge in our contemporary world today? And how has it shaped your research and ambitions?
Tana pigiak tawro sama yu inyo na makaunut ilinyang pigiak kama mikin ni isumangin aure yun na tiang ni tukiswar dani nga sukat tiang nga ni pigiak lo sama yu upigo sutiak tu kuda bunga kata sumagata. This is an absolute honor for us all. Education can and will change the world. Education must allow the children to have the opportunity to be independent and realize own potential by tapping into their own creativity. In Pandalit, we hope for children to experience learning is sparked by their own interests and with support and guidance from adults. Children need from freedom of imagination in order to grow into and to thrive as healthy adults. To see the preschool is to believe that it is possible. The best things in the world need to be felt with the heart. And anyone who steps into this room feels that energy. We are excited to share this method and this energy and our new partners. And with you all, thank you so much for your support. And we feel the children at early age need a good foundation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. I wanted to move on to Dr. Peter Cullis. We know that building great Canadian businesses is not easy. And I see that every day working at the DMZ with hundreds of entrepreneurs trying to do exactly that. What barriers do you think Canadian innovators face today? And could you maybe share some obstacles that you've personally faced in your work and maybe some limitations that you've had to overcome?
Oh, certainly. I mean, innovation is overcoming a series of obstacles. I guess the major barrier that I see for a lot of people kind of doing what they probably can do is their own inhibitions. We often feel like, gee, I can't do that. Some other people are just way more able, and they have much more experience. I found out I got a PhD in physics and realized I didn't want to go on in physics. And so I really had to make a switch at that point, and I ended up doing biochemistry at the postdoctoral level, and where I didn't know anything about biochemistry, and I found I survived in that environment, and that really helped in terms of subsequent innovation. I then went on from biochemistry to developing drugs, and then saying, okay, well, we developed a drug, then perhaps some business aspect could take place, and so we formed Acuitas Therapeutics as a spin-off from my laboratory, my EBC laboratory. And of course, we then played a big role, this was with Mick Hope and Tom Madden, in developing the lipid nanoparticle that enables the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, which is what we got the award for. But I would really emphasize that it's really important not to get too hung up about your own limitations. Really have a good go at things if you're really interested in them. There's a number of imperatives that certainly drive me, is we really need to get discoveries that are made in our universities out into various applications that benefit Canadians. Right now, far too many of our graduates go south because the jobs aren't here, and so we need to employ Canadians in Canada. It's really a very important aspect. Another point is that companies, I find, are very good ways of keeping teams together. One of the reasons that we've been successful together with Mick and Tom is that we've worked together for 40 years. And so we've managed to build up a core, as a result of forming companies. We've managed to form a expertise that is leading the world, and so that really does help. Of course, then the final thing is that it's usual. It's a probably a lot of people would say this, but you do have to aim to do great things. That you most likely won't succeed. But if you certainly won't succeed if you don't aim for the really great, you don't have really great ambitions. I'll just leave it at that. So thank you.
Wow, just hearing you speak, Doctor, I feel increasingly inadequate. But I appreciate the words of confidence to make sure that you push forward and that you aim for greatness. I think that's such a great message for people to listen to, and don't be afraid of the outcomes, regardless of what they are. It will lead you to the next maybe opportunity that you never thought of. So that's really good, and thank you so much for that. Mr. Basiri, I want to go back to you and maybe a similar question. How can Canada better support its innovators?
I think Canada already doing a very good job, and I'm so grateful for that. Definitely, I believe new innovation that we need in terms of new innovation we need in terms of immigration to fast forward Canada to get the best talent from all over the world at the fastest possible way to Canada, so they choose here as their home, and they choose here to innovate. That would be crucial for future of Canada. As you know, more we're going through the 21st century, talents be more and more sought after, and whoever have access to the best talent going to lead in the game. Canada already doing very good job in that regard, but still there is a huge there are huge challenges that we are facing, especially that other countries are also not sit down and do nothing. So Canada, for being the best destination for all people around the world, for the best talent, we need to always make sure that we keep innovating and make the best path forward for them to choose Canada, to come here, to live here, and to innovate here.
It all comes back to talent. I couldn't agree more with you, and something that we need to fundamentally put a lot more focus on, because that is what's going to set us apart from everybody else. And frankly, it's actually what's setting us apart right now from everybody else. So that's really good feedback, and thank you for that. I want to bring in Dr. Susan Scully. The next question is for you. How much of innovation is all about persistence and the willingness to keep ideating, tweaking, adapting, and until you really have something that works, and being flexible in that manner?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And thanks for the opportunity to be here and hear from all of the colleagues on this panel. It's already been re-inspiring to hear your stories and your perspectives. I think that persistence has been a big part of our team's work, and what we're the award that we were the technology that we've been given this award for is hearing aid prescription software for use for children who use hearing aids, and it's not a new technology. It's been developed over decades and is in the 5th version of the software. So that by itself sort of explains that there's been persistence and revision and ideation and revisiting of assumptions and tweaking and making improvements, and some of that has been in response to the technology changes in the larger hearing industry around us. So if a new piece of equipment is invented that could potentially be used for children, it's not typically invented for the purpose of being used for children from out of the gate, right? So we've worked a lot on how to make adaptations, how to take something that was maybe developed with the adults use case in mind and figure out how to make it work in the case of young children. And that takes persistence. And over the years, if you sort of look at all the different tweaks that have been made and different angles that have been investigated, it sort of adds up to quite a lot. And when we were talking about the award, one of our members said, if we sort of knew 20 years ago where it was going to get to, we might have found that daunting. We might have it was better, in fact, that we were just focused on the problem at hand and using science to solve the problem at hand, because that's where I think the real persistence came from, is being interested in what is the problem we're trying to fix, what are the solutions that address that, and just keeping going with that as the primary goal in mind. And our founding mentor talked about getting it right.
Such great points here as well. And I think, sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but once you get into it, you start to realize the true impact of what's being delivered and what's being done. And, I think the fact that you folks persevered and continued on that journey shows your true purpose and what you've been able to accomplish. So thank you for that. Dr. Monkman, I wanted to ask you if you agree on what was just said by Susan, and what role does failure play in your team's success?
I heartily agree with the perspective of Susan. I think we've seen it in our own work that breakthroughs we've had, you certainly would say, are a product of effort. It's also highlights the importance of collaboration. In developing a diverse team with different skills and strengths and perspectives is one of the strategies that can help you navigate through the challenging times that failure can be a part of. But I also want to highlight for us that we want to look at failure as being instructive, that it's not necessarily an end point, but it's just you've discovered something that doesn't work. So if there's something from that you can learn, something that can inform you on the next thing you try, or shift in strategy, then you derive value from those challenges, and you can grow and excel based upon how you're able to adapt and overcome failure.
Something I always talk about here, that take failure as a form of feedback, and you'll be able to apply that and become a better person, founder, entrepreneur, team member always. So I love you you stating that point, because it's so fundamentally important to the learning journey of a founder and what they're building. Thank you very much for that. I want to move on to Jean-Simon Vin. AI is one of the most exciting areas of technology, and we are exploring, and Canada is leading the way in this front. What do you think is the future of your research and work? What could we see maybe in the next 5, 10, or even 50 years based on what you've been able to accomplish so far?
Well, Abdullah, it's we're just beginning, right? It's the beginning of a fascinating path. So what we have accomplished is basically use the expertise that we have in Canada, that there is deep learning expertise with one of the branch of AI, and we combined it with operational research, which is kind of the science of optimization. And merging the two was basically the secret of the recipe on our side. Designing that AI, autonomous AI that optimize and operate the building without the human on the energy side, so we could reduce the emission, increase the comfort of the tenant, reduce the energy. So that's kind of a building block. And if you look forward, what's coming up? Well, imagine if we start to connect these AI agents, which are operating the building all in their little corner, and we start to connect them together, and they start to act as kind of a school of fish at the city level, to the benefit of the energy production, to the energy distribution. So we don't have to produce that much, because the demand would fluctuate based on the constraint of production or distribution. And it's quite interesting, because all this kind of path forward of using AI to optimize the assets is coming at the right time, in terms of the complexity of the energy equation is becoming fairly complex now that we're going to have this electrical vehicle that we need to charge, and we're going to have more solar panel, one more windmill, more battery, and the optimization question of when should we charge a battery, when should we discharge that battery, when should we charge the car, and if you go dive into the detail, when should I do my laundry? When should we take the shower? And there is an optimal answer to all of these questions, but it's so complicated that really AI is the perfect tool to optimize that multi-factor equation in real time, much faster than what we could do with an Excel sheet.
I love it. Optimized life sometimes is an important thing to become a better person. So I really appreciate that as well. Ms. Merkosak and Ms. Kipomi, similar question for you. What does the future hold for Birovic? Sorry.
We really appreciate like elementary school for giving us the space. But as they have said before, that they're expecting so many students, and once they have too many students, we will have to pack up and leave, and we don't have a space. So that's our obstacle. All the positive feedback that we get from parents and teachers here is they're helping us with the future. It's just that we don't have our own building.
Well, I do hope that we can find a way to continue the great work that you're doing, because it is critical and important for the community. So I thank you for your words and for your wisdom. I did want to shift into one final question. That's a question for everyone. And maybe I'll start with Dr. Scully. What is your advice to young people who want to become innovators in their own right?
I think the one thing I'd like to say is that I can't think of too many innovations that happen from someone working alone. Who's your team, and the kind of trust, diversity of expertise, diversity of opinions, and ability to work together even through times that are difficult, mistakes that you make, and have honesty, openness, and trust working together with your team is probably the most important thing.
Wise words. Thank you. Mr. Vin?
I would say that for the first time in history of the mankind, we're reaching a point where technology is so powerful that we're not limited by the technology itself to chase a dream, but we're limited by our capacity to brainstorm and find the innovation angle to how to use that technology to create innovation. So go wild, start brainstorming, and put your dream at work, because it is possible to do that.
I love that. Dr. Cullis?
Yeah, I think Susan had a excellent point with regard to the need for the team. The team aspect is really, well, for me, it's pretty much everything. If you're not part of it, or you manage to construct a good team, it's very difficult to really carry your innovation through. The other thing is that, with, say, my own field, as just being emphasized with regard to AI, our abilities to make new medicines that use gene therapy approaches. In other words, use the biology that our body uses to produce proteins, whatever, is really revolutionizing medicine. That many diseases that before up till now we haven't been able to treat. The prospects are that we're going to be able to treat them very effectively using these new approaches. So I find it very exciting that it's not just things like the vaccine. There's many follow-ons from that are going to happen that will be treating everything from atherosclerosis to rare diseases such as cystic fibrosis, Alzheimer's, you name it, cancer. All of these diseases are now increasingly attackable using these gene therapy approaches, using nucleic acid-based therapies.
Thank you, Dr. Cullis. Mr. Basiri?
I would say never give up. Have your persistence, and that is like probably the most important thing. And after that, have passion for what you do, because doing something big, regardless of like finding a new innovation, building a company, or having impact on other people, whatever it is, it could be tiring. It's a hard way to have a big impact. So if you like what you do and you have passion for it, it doesn't feel work. You don't get tired, and you can continue doing it. And you have more reason not to give up, because almost all the successful people that I see and I ask them, it never came very easy to them. They always had hard times. And what brought them forward was their mindset about not giving up, and also their persistence and the passion was the fuel of this rocket ship that they had to go through and dream bigger and bigger and make things the way that they wanted. To not accept the world the way it is, but accept the world that but build the world the way they want it. I wish like more people were telling me earlier on in my life that to take more risk and to not afraid of failure. But I'm glad I learned after that. And every day I remind myself that to take more risk and not afraid of failure.
It's such a strong message, and I think it's important to realize that being an innovator or an entrepreneur is not easy, but it's incredibly rewarding, as you mentioned. And I personally never met an interesting person with an easy life. So that's there you have it. I wanted to move on to Dr. Monkman.
I would reflect upon the idea that being new and innovative is not enough. You need to understand what problem are you solving, what value can you provide to your target market, what challenges can you overcome, and once you understand that, then you have the chance of being sustainable and moving from just being simply innovative to being truly impactful. And as you embrace the vision of where you want to go, it's been mentioned again and again, the team that is going to join you on your journey is such an important part. So you have to understand where it is that you need help, what type of person, what type of skill set, and then get that journey going, jump on that rocket and go for a ride.
Thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, Mrs. Merkosak and Ms. Kipomi.
The obstacles in life are always going to be there. And this preschool consists of council, staff, and 2 co-directors, parents, and the little children that are coming here to preschool. And we need to work together to make it work and support each other. And if the staff need our support, we try to support them. And if they're lacking something, we are there for them. And for the sake of the preschoolers.
I think it's important. Another important lesson is that obstacles will always be in your way, but it's about being able to get around it and find a way forward. So thank you all for that. I again, just such great takeaway messages for people that are watching, that are inspiring to become an entrepreneur or an innovator one day, and maybe even win this award. Some of the things is, being able to go wild and build your dream and never give up, and ensure that you are obsessed with the problem and not with the solution. And you're finding ways to remain flexible and move forward and build great teams. So such great messages from the group. And I just got to say, that's all the time that we have for today. But what's amazing about this group in particular is that they've been able to do so much for our country, to do a lot more deposits than they have withdrawals. So it just, I just want to thank all the laureates for being here with us and giving their time. Congratulations again on being named the 2022 Governor General Innovation Award recipients. Your accomplishments are truly remarkable in helping us make this country a better place for everyone. Thank you to the Rita Hall Foundation, the GGIA nominating partners, the GGIA assessment and selection committees, and all of you for watching. I'm Abdullah Snowbar. Thank you and take care.